So today we're learning about continuous effects. Very simply put, continuous effects are a type of monster effect that applies while the monster remains face up on the field. Some of these effects must meet additional requirements before they can be applied, and others may only be applied temporarily. However, these effects never activate and thus do not start a chain. Essentially, these effects are active on the field the moment your monster is summoned. So you never have to activate its effect, nor can your opponent chain a card onto the activation of your effect in order to negate that activation. So there's really no way specifically to attack the activation of an effect like Jinzo's, for example. Now that doesn't mean you can't destroy Jinzo and stop his effect that way. By removing him off the field, that effect is no longer active because he himself is no longer face up on the field. This is interesting specifically because of a card that gets used against me all the time called Majesty's Fiend. So if we look at Majesty's Fiend, which first of all has beautiful artwork, but second of all, you can see it's a level 6 monster and it has this effect. Cannot be special summoned. Neither player can activate monster effects. Shouldn't Majesty's Fiend's effect itself be cancelled by his own effect? Luckily, we can trust good old Reddit to answer this question. It says here, help, Majesty's Fiend says all monster effects are negated. Does that cause her effect to be negated, releasing all others? Which is a her? Is it really? I guess it might be. I can't really tell. Can I zoom in? I think it's a dude, but whatever. But the point is the question still stands. Thus, the effect negate itself. So the top response here says, you need to read Majesty's Fiend properly. It doesn't say negate all monster effects on the field. It says neither player can activate monster effects, which prevents monster effect activations. Preventing activation is not the same thing with negating. So let's go back to the rule we just read. Remember, this is a continuous effect. It's active the moment that the monster is face up on the field and stays active as long as that monster remains face up on the field. That's what happens with this card. It's not a flip effect. It's not like an ignition effect. We don't have to like tribute one monster and then we can activate this effect. Nothing like that. So let's say I have a Jinzo on the field. Just because my opponent summoned Majesty's Fiend, that doesn't stop my Jinzo from having its effect still active, because his effect was continuous just like Majesty's Fiend, and therefore Jinzo's effect is never activated. And we can see this here. These effects are never activated and thus do not start a chain. So that means you can't chain your effect onto my effect, which would be what would happen here if I tried to Jinzo negate a trap card and you were to say, well, no, I'm activating my effect here to stop your Jinzo. That's not how either of these two cards work. Both of these effects are currently still active and have always been active from the moment they were brought onto the field, and they were never once activated by the owner of that respective card. The only way to stop them is by removing the monster from the field. So if you were to summon a monster that has a continuous effect, you can trap hole it or something like that, and that monster gets kicked off the field. Its effect is no longer active on the field. So it's very weird because it kind of feels like semantics. Like you're not activating the effect, but the effect is active because of you putting the monster on the field. So I get where that can be very confusing. If you guys have any other rulings that you want me to break down for you in a way that's hopefully a little simpler to understand, make sure to leave me a comment down below, join our Patreon. Thanks for watching.